It's just terrible.
Twin Snakes was
I
brilliant,
think they
mate.
do a great job.
Don't diss
Twin Snakes was absolutely awful. It was fucking garbage.
I'm not having that.
Let's have snakes surf on a missile. Yeah, that's fucking great.
It was brilliant. It was so
Absolute dog shit. You are being the troll now. You've got a troll mask on. I can't
not,
see you, but I know you have.
I'm not. No,
You cannot
right.
be serious.
No, because the thing is, the thing is with the Twin Snakes, right? And I'll say 100%. The thing is with the Twin Snakes. So it had that.
Steam coming out of my ears.
Let's get the notes up.
What should we call this then?
That's a good point, isn't it? What should we call it? What do you want to call it, Rich? As soon as it's your baby.
Super Beanie-Man, super fun time gaming stream chat.
Gaming podcast chat stream of all time. Mark 10.
I don't know. Talking games with friends.
Yeah, games with friends. We working title. You can add the intro after, can't you?
Yeah.
You can add the hi, this is Super Beanie-Man Gaming. And welcome to the podcast. We're joined today by
a very special guest.
Can you hear this audio coming through, by the way? Me shooting things in Dead Space.
No.
Okay, cool. Because I'm shooting things in Dead Space.
Ah.
Doing some achievement grinding.
Speaking of Dead Space, that's a nice little segue.
Nice little segue into it. Yeah.
We heard the news. EA are apparently making a new Dead Space. Years after killing the franchise.
I don't know if I like what I've heard. I'll be honest with you. So there's rumours of it being a remake. There's rumours of it being like a reimagining. I don't know. I think if it's a remake, because I think that's what EA are more likely to do. I don't think it's needed. Really don't. Like I say, I've played through Dead Space again over the weekend, and the game still holds up so well.
Mate,
really holds up.
It is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
By far the best horror game on that PS3 generation.
That's the PS3 and Xbox 360 generation, Rich. We're not, we're not all Sony nerds like yourself. That was around, and it was the most successful out of the two.
It just repeat it in the end, though, didn't it?
Well, that's only because people use it for. Didn't people use it for like Bitcoin farming and stuff? Is that why it won?
Yeah, but if you brought an Xbox 360, you probably brought two because one of them would break on it. So, wait to inflate your sales. Is that it, Microsoft? But anyway, let's not get into that because we'll be here all night. Yeah, Dead Space. Yeah, I've heard the rumor that it might be a remake, and that it could also be a fourth one. But it's like, I don't know, man, because obviously Visceral Games they've been shut down for a while now. But it's going to be a different team, and I think it's just too late. They should have just carried on. Learned the lesson from 3 when they messed that one up and just redone it then a couple of years later. I'm also suspicious of the timing of it because it was only at was it E3 this year, I think, or one of the conventions earlier in the year, where the Callisto Protocol, I think it was called, was announced, and that's made by the team of Visceral Games who made the Dead Space franchise, and they're basically just making a spiritual successor to it. And that got a fair bit of hype at the time. I feel like they're just seeing that.
Just let you know, Rich. Just let you know, just to interrupt you. Sorry, your mic's cutting in and out a little bit, so I don't know if you want to turn your sensitivity up. Yeah, slightly.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like the end of your sentences are dropping off. Sad.
Son of a bitch. How do I change that? But yeah, I just feel like it sort of stinks of like, oh, we don't want you guys getting all the attention. Now we're going to bring back Dead Space after you guys have just started to make your own one. It's like, It's just a bit of another fuck you for that team, I think. And
yeah. I can see EA doing that because they are a bunch of bastards.
Yeah, it's just sad that like they made that first one. It was really good, and then EA just sort of got the grubby little fingers on it, started to request a load of things, and eventually just destroyed it.
Grubby little fingers. Yeah, 100%.
They did, didn't they? You know.
Well, this is coming to something I've been looking up on. So, Dead Space 1 obviously was a commercial success for them. It was a commercial success. They sold. I don't know how many they sold, but it sold well. It made a lot of money. It was a cult hit as well. You know, it had rave reviews. Everyone was talking about it. So they went, right, okay, and that was 2008 that turned up. So I'm not sure when Resident Evil 5 came out. I'm thinking it was after, or I feel like it was after. It would have been the king. So, and I think 4 was a massive inspiration for Dead Space. The whole over the shoulder camera. That was, I think, what drove them to do it. And they you know,
better though, didn't they? With the movement, you could move and shoot, and
it was, and the thing as well with Dead Space that it beat Resident Evil on was the whole puzzle system, because the whole Resident Evil universe is just full of fucking lunatics who decide that they can't just lock a door. They have to get a fucking crest and then split it into 2, and then once you put the crest together, it opens up and reveals it's a key, and then that key opens a book, which opens another fucking crest, and then you need 4 jewels to fucking open that bastard. That's a Resident Evil puzzle, and it's just pedantic. You know what I mean? It's you look at it and you go, who in their right mind is actually going to have done this? No one. No one. It's just done for a game. Whereas Dead Space, it didn't feel like a puzzle game, because you had, you know, you turned up, you're on a ship, it's falling apart. It's like, right, let's go fix this. So the whole kinesis.
An engineer, so it was all, yeah.
And the kinesis
worked. To your character, in it. Yeah.
Definitely. And I mean, the kinesis works. You went in, you picked up a thing, you put it in the right place. And I know it weren't complicated. Like, I mean, there was no part of the game where I think there was one part of the game where I couldn't remember what I had to do, and that was like later on where you release there's an asteroid that you've got to put a beacon on, and then you've got to send it flying. And like I couldn't quite remember where I was putting the beacon on, and I kept getting cut in half by this bloody thing spinning around it, and I couldn't slow it down with kinesis, and I was like, what the fuck? Or is it kinesis or stasis? Sorry, stasis slows it down, kinesis moves the objects. So I couldn't slow it down. I was like, what the fuck's going on? And then like after a bit of faffing about, I clocked on that, okay, I've got to go on it and then go outside of the thing. And yeah, the whole zero gravity works really well. The jumping from platform to platform, just everything about it fit the game. And it didn't feel like I was trying to solve a puzzle. It felt like I was doing a task, which was the point of it. You know what I mean? You're trying to fix this ship. You're trying to survive any way that you can.
It wasn't, like you say, it wasn't out of place, was it? It sort of just logically sort of fit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what Village is like. Obviously, you've played Village. You can tell more than me. Is that more of the same madman with a crest that's hidden in a chest in a valley far away or whatever?
Yeah, but it's even more basic than it has been before. There wasn't really any sort of puzzles where I was like scratching my head. You know, there's one where you got 4 statues. You go into this small room, there's 4 statues, and you have to turn them around in order to drain some water and reveal the room going down. And the solution is just in that same room. It's like a painting on the wall or something, or a notebook, I think it was actually. And you read the notebook, and it sort of tells you like something like the rich turn away from the poor look at the rich. You know, and it would kind of reveal what positions to put them all in. It's just well, there you go. There's a solution. Spin, done. Next, and you know, you'd get like a ring, and if you examine the ring, it will give you the eyepiece, and there's a door just down the hallway with a face on it, with a missing eye. It's like, okay, well, that goes there. And there's nothing where it was like, awkward to figure out. There was a good one. I thought, wow, a good example of a bad puzzle. Do you remember in the original Resident Evil when you got the shotgun? In the mansion. In Village, there's a bit in the mansion early on where instead of the shotgun, it's this mask. So there's this puzzle where you need to find 4 masks in order to open the door to get out of the mansion. And one of them, you'll go into a room upstairs. And as soon as you go in the room, there's this big statue right in front of you, and the mask is on it. But when you pick up the mask, a cage comes down in the whole room, so you can't go out the door the way you came, so you're stuck. So in this one, the solution is the only way out of the room is to go through the fireplace. So obviously you need to find something to put on that statue to weigh it down so the cage goes up so you can go out with the mask. Kind of like how in Resident Evil 1 you had to find the fake broken shotgun to put on the rack so you could take the real shotgun with you without getting crushed. But whereas in Resident Evil 1 you might find that broken shotgun the other side of the mansion 2 hours ago, or you might find that room and then 2 hours later you might find that shotgun, and then you'll twig and you go, oh, okay, that's what can go there and I can put that down. In Resident Evil Village, you go into that room, you'll figure out that you need to put something down. Your only way out is through the fireplace, which you crawl through, and then you're behind the rooms kind of thing in the joints of the rooms, and you just crawl down this narrow corridor, and all that leads that to is the fake mask that you can put on the thing. So it's like there's no head scratching moment there trying to figure it out. It's just the game is just literally leading you down a corridor to the solution, and it's like, just how dumb do they want to make this game, And that just sums that whole game up, really. It's just this drip fed of these little tiny non-puzzles, and it's just it's more of a combat game now.
Yeah, I mean, would you say 7 was a combat game as well, or was 7 a bit more puzzling?
I think 7 had a balance of both, because obviously you still had to find keys to do the doors, but they weren't that complex. It's just exploring and then you'll find it. But you had that part where it went a bit Saw-like, didn't you? The son, and he locked you in that room, and you had to figure out the birthday cake thing, wasn't it? And it was like a little 20-minute section where you were just pure puzzle solving.
Well, they did a whole DLC based on that, didn't they? They did a whole DLC based on those. Those things. So you'd have thought that if that's what people wanted, maybe it didn't sell well.
Yeah, they see Resident Evil Village. It's sort of split up into like 4 different game types for these 4 bosses that you go and see. So you got the mansion with the tall lady, and that's like the classic Resident Evil sort of thing, finding keys and items and doing the little puzzles. Then you got like an action one for like a Resi 6 sort of action type thing, where you're just mostly shooting. And then there's like a PT section where you'll do these puzzles with this little doll, but they're so basic, it's just nothing like what you'd have expected from PT. So yeah, it's a weird mishmash of like 4 or 5 different horror types, like what Resident Evil 6 was like, where it just tried to appeal to like the action one, the guy who liked survival horror, all those different types. It just didn't really work for me. I think it's the worst one, to be honest.
Yeah.
Even worse than 6.
I don't think it can be.
But
I don't think it's possible to be worse than 6.
It's just meh. Really is. Like, at least Resident Evil 6, I could laugh at it for like the ridiculousness of it. And it has all the characters you like in it, so that helps.
Whereas but it has all the characters you don't like as well. It's got all the characters in Resident Evil 6 you don't like. They're all like Leon and Chris, but Chris has gotten to a steroid junkie at that point. So, and yeah, basically Leon, nobody gives a shit about Sherry or fucking Albert Wesker's son. I can't remember what his name is. Jack? Is it Jack? Jake?
Jake, yeah, it was Jake. Yes, yeah, that was it. That was the other bit, the Uncharted bit, wasn't it? Yeah. Uncharted's popular. Let's put it in this game. But the thing I liked about Dead Space, though, was it was the setting. You know, the whole alien ship sort of vibe that it was going off of, and the way and the enemies themselves, it was just so unique, and the way you had to shoot the limbs to kill them, I thought that was really cool. And like how just simple things like you walk down some of the corridors in the ship, and you just hear them crawling through the vents like above you or below you, and you just think, where the hell are they going to pop out of now?
Yeah.
That first one was terrifying, man.
I think one of the worst.
I really enjoyed the first one.
Or one of I say the worst from a gameplay point of view. It's probably one of the worst, but from a horror point of view, probably one of their best things. There was no damage indicator, so you didn't know where they were coming from. So if something like you had those little lurkers that fired sort of things at you, and they could crawl up walls and stuff.
Yeah.
And you didn't know, and especially in the 0G section, you didn't know where they fucking were. It was mad.
Yeah,
you were like trying
they
to.
Were a pain in that.
You was there like looking around like a nutter. Where the fucking hell's this little bastard shooting me from?
You just hear Isaac going, "Ah!" Like constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, where am I getting hit?
But that's another thing. Speaking of characters and people you like, I mean, Isaac for me, he's I don't really care about him. I don't care about the whole story of Dead Space, and it's going to sound strange because the story is fantastic. So as a self-contained story, Dead Space 1 is brilliant. Is a brilliant game, but the overarching story, I couldn't give a fuck about. I couldn't give a fuck about how Dead Space 1 connects to Dead Space 2 because I don't think it's needed. If you know what I mean. Like the whole, like I couldn't tell you without playing it again. I couldn't tell you the plot of Dead Space 2. I don't remember it, but I remember Dead Space 1 because of the twist at the end, and I remember everything about it. And I mean, I've when Dead Space 2 came out, I blasted that and played it through on the day of release and played it to completion, and I enjoyed the game. Yeah. But God knows, I genuinely couldn't tell you other than the fact that Isaac's losing his shit.
Yeah, he talks in the second one, don't he? And you've got that woman, he gets a girlfriend in it. They're trying to escape another ship who picked them up or something. Yeah.
See, it's the third one on Earth. Did they get to Earth?
I still think it's on Mars or whatever. Because the third one is where it's the cart one, wasn't it? And you had that other guy with you. And it just went totally off the rails. Because it's the whole thing with that monument thing, isn't it?
Yeah, the mark.
Yeah, the marker, and that sort of possesses you, kind of thing, don't it, or something? And, I don't know.
So
there's a woman trying to get it in the first one, isn't there?
So yeah, the first one, the basic plot was you go in there to repair the ship. You've lost contact, or you get that message from your missus, but there's a couple of plot holes that I'd like to point out for the first Dead Space because I'm kind of a bit like, what the fuck? So you turn up, right, on a emergency repair vessel from another ship. I can't remember what it's called. I know the big ship's called the Ishimura, the one you're on. But I can't remember what this other ship is called. But you're an emergency repair crew. Right, so where the fuck is that other ship? Right, the one that you've left from. Surely they would contact you, or you would contact them. Right, if you could. Yeah. But okay, they might be out of radio range. And then, secondly, that ship turns up to try and, it picks up the distress beacon, the USN Valor or something like that. Right. And that turns up and then just immediately crashes because they picked up an escape pod. Right.
Is that when you get to the cockpit type bit and you sort of see it through the windows?
Yeah, you're on a gunner, aren't you? You're taking out this alien creature because there's a massive. You need to repair the comms array, so you repair it, and then you need to get a signal out, and there's something blocking the door to the blast doors or something. So you go, okay, and you go and blow this creature off the side of it, and then like you can get the signal out, and you can speak to this ship, and they're like, oh, by the way, we've picked up your escape pod. Right, second plot hole. Why the fuck, right, did Hammond, the guy is, there's two people, there's Hammond and there's the bird who's with you. Can't remember her name. Amelia?
Nicole.
Or is it... Yeah.
Girlfriend Nicole, the blonde one, or the...
No, her. So her and Hammond and you basically, and she does it really well because she's like pointing the finger at Hammond because he's like the leader, saying, "What have you done? You knew about the marker, this, that, and the other." So you sort of all the way through going, "Oh, does he know something?" And then all of a sudden it's the twist that she's the bad guy, and it works. It works really well because you don't expect it. But yeah, so I forgot what my plot hole was now. Yeah, so Hammond goes to the bridge, right? I'm going to go to the bridge, see if I can get the personnel files or whatever. He gets there, and then he says, oh, I was attacked by one of those necromorphs, right? And I put him in the escape pod, right? And then the thing jumps up at you, and he goes, oh, I thought it was dead. So instead of just killing it, he fucking launches an escape pod, right? With the thing inside. Now, ain't being funny, but one... You're trapped on a ship that's getting the shit blown out of it. It could go down at any second. Do you really want to be firing off escape pods that you might need? Right, 2. I've just killed about 500 of these bastards. Just open the door, I'll kill it. Do you know what I mean? I've just killed so many. Just let me kill it. I'll just... there's no fucking issue whatsoever. I'll just take him out. But yeah, and so he fires off this escape pod, which the USN, so once you open the blast doors and you get communication through, they're like, you get a signal from them saying, oh, this is the USN Valor or whatever, we've picked up your distress call, or we've picked up your, we picked up your escape pod and we're on our rendezvous with you. So obviously they open the escape pod, right, and this one necromorph takes out their whole ship. Right, their whole ship. Now, you think, okay, well, maybe if you caught them unawares, right, but throughout the whole thing, the guy Hammond saying, this is a warship, these guys are prepared for war, it's like full of Marines. So one necromorph has taken out a whole ship full of Marines, right, and turned them all, whereas a fucking engineer who's lost his missus can take everything down and fix a ship at the same time. It just doesn't weigh up. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a couple of little plot holes, but they're sort of B movie plot holes which you can accept in a way. Horror film plot holes, you sort of don't really worry about them.
And he does it with a plasma cutter, which isn't actually a weapon; it's a tool.
Yeah.
But that gun is really good.
Oh mate, I've been grinding through achievements that I'm missing. Trophies to you, mate, if you're wondering what I'm talking about.
There's one for completing it, just using that in there, I think.
Yeah, that's the one I got that yesterday. And it took me about, I did it on easy, I did a playthrough, it took me about 6.5 hours on and off, just playing it and doing other stuff and then coming back to it whenever I got a chance.
It's great though, isn't it? Doing that run with that. I love doing that. I thought it was great. Yeah. I
mean, the thing is, the weapon's powerful. You upgrade it, and it's powerful, and it makes you more accurate. Accurate? Is that the word? Accurate. Because you got to shoot the limbs off and aim for stuff. Yeah, it works. It's not like they've gone, oh, here you go. Here's a bloody snub-nosed pistol, and you've got to take down, an army of the undead or whatever. It's definitely doable. And to be honest, playing through it again, because I've got 3 achievements left, so I think, or 2. So I've got to max out all the weapons with the power nodes. Yeah. I don't know if I've just got the 2 left. I think it might just be the 2. Max out the weapons with the power nodes and complete the game on the hardest difficulty setting. So
is that the one where you can only save like 3 times or something?
That's in Dead Space 2, I believe. I think that's hardcore mode in Dead Space 2.
Yeah, because 2's got the eye bit, hasn't it? Where you sit in the chair and you have to
Yeah, that's one of the worst.
Even before that.
It's one of the worst things to watch ever. That is, you can't look.
Yeah, because his eyes moving all over the place in it, and you have to press the button. Yeah, when it's in the middle, looking at the needle.
But yeah, so we've got on a big, massive chat about Dead Space. What do you think about Dead Space 4, mate?
But yeah, Dead Space 4. I just it didn't end on a good note with 3. Like three's ending
I didn't finish it, mate. I didn't finish. I got to in 3. I got to the part where there was like it was a boss fight, and there was a big hut in the middle when you went in and supplied yourself, and then there was a big sort of circular area outside where you ended up fighting this giant thing. And I got to that bit, and I just went, "This is shit," and turned it off and never turned it back on again.
I played it co-op with a friend, so that helped just sort of, push through the crap bits. But I swear it sort of ended with like oh, are you still there? You might have gone.
Yeah, I'm still there, mate.
Like it was flickering off. I swear it ended on a cliffhanger, and the actual ending was in DLC that you had to buy. I swear he dies at the end. That's a typical DLC to carry on the story. Yeah, and it was just so disgusting that they just did that, and it was like, nah. And they put all the microtransactions in 3, didn't they? So you had to, you could buy all the power nodes, couldn't you, or something to upgrade your guns. And it kind of pushed you towards doing that.
This was the start of them trying to make games as a service type things, but they didn't really know what they were fucking doing. So this is the time where if you brought a game second hand, every single EA game had an online pass you had to buy, which was fucking nobody ever brought the online pass. EA clearly don't have a clue. I mean, there's some people out there who do it well. Because at the end of the day, it is a business, isn't it? You want to make money somehow, and if you're a company like, I'll give you my perfect example, right? Blizzard, okay, Activision Blizzard, but I'm just going to take Blizzard out of it, and look at them separately. So they've got World of Warcraft, okay. So you've got an expansion every 2 years, you've got microtransactions, you've got a monthly subscription. You've got things like that, okay? So that makes its money back that way. Then you've got sort of StarCraft. So StarCraft has its competitive scene, and that's what really brings in the sort of the ad revenue and the big bucks, especially in South Korea. It's like a national sport over there. But they have little DLC packs with little things in there, mission packs and stuff like that. But the perfect example is Overwatch. So Overwatch came out, and it was by the game for and this game came out in 2016. I think Overwatch come out, maybe sooner, and it's 2021, and there's a sequel coming out now. That is finally introducing PvE stuff. So before it was a whole multiplayer game. There was no other stuff before then. I don't know if you've played Overwatch at all.
No, I've seen it, but I've not played it.
So there was no single player in it at all. It was all multiplayer. So the Overwatch 2 is introducing single player campaign, and co-op single player campaign. So you can have like 5-man teams doing like the single player missions, which to me that's more appealing than the multiplayer. Even though the Overwatch multiplayer is really fun in comparison to other games, but the way they made their money was loot boxes. But every single item in the loot box is just purely cosmetic. Everything, there's no pay to win whatsoever.
No,
your characters are your characters. The weapons are the weapons. They don't do more damage. They don't do less damage. You can't, and it's not like a game where you could go and pick up a different gun. You can't do that. Your character has their weapons and their skill sets. Which makes it work because you pick a character and you don't have to buy characters. Characters just come unlocked as soon as they're released. So and it worked, and all their money has been made from the loot box sales. Now, to me, as a thing, you can look at it and say, "Oh, loot boxes for skins and stuff like that," but you get loot box every time you level up. You get a loot box, and I don't think there's an end to the level cap you can get, because every time you reach level 100 you just get another star and start again.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So every time you level up, you get one. Okay, it takes a bit more experience. It has like weekly quests where you do 3 or so, and then you get a loot box. And yeah, I mean, if there's things I've wanted, because they'll run like say a winter event, and I used to back when I used to play quite a bit with a couple of mates, it would be like there's say 3 or 4 epic winter skins, 2 legendary winter skins, and then probably 5 sort of like rare winter skins. And you'd go, okay, let's go and play like 10 or 20 games and get 3 or 4 levels, get 4 loot boxes. Has anyone got an epic skin? Oh, I've got one, but I don't like this character. Okay, well, we'll go and do some more ones. And you know what I mean? It was about, we want this, so we'll play the game. There is other people who don't want to play the game, or they haven't got time. They go, oh, I'll just drop 50 quid on loot boxes. Fine, you do that. You know,
I don't mind it if it's in multiplayer games like that. It's when they do like the cosmetics for a single player game that annoys me, because for me those used to be rewards for beating the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd get a costume. Yeah. Metal Gear, you'd get the tuxedo, you'd get the stealth suit, you'd get the bandana. You know. I feel like that's what we miss out on. I think Batman Arkham was the worst one for it. He had, I think it was Arkham Knight. He just had like 30 odd suits that you could buy, but you couldn't unlock any in the actual game through just playing or getting all the collectibles or anything like that.
That's bad.
There was like really cool ones, like the animated series costume, proper like cell shaded look. There was the Batman Beyond suit, the future Batman guy. There was ones that I really wanted to get, but you had to buy them for like a couple of quid each, and it's just like, ugh, yeah, man. But maybe that's just the old school gamer in me, too used to having them just as a reward.
I wouldn't. Yeah. I don't think so. I agree with what you're saying totally. But the reason that started dying, mate, we've gone off such a diatribe here. But the reason that started was the introduction of fucking your fabled trophies and achievements. I think that because the perfect game, for an example, Dead Rising, okay, the original. So every single achievement you unlocked in Dead Rising, you also got an item that was in the safe house that you could equip, right? Because when that came out, they didn't know what achievements were. They just went, oh, okay, well, Microsoft want them. All right, we'll stick them in, but we don't really care. So you get like the Mega Man Buster, because obviously it's a Capcom game. Yeah. You get all these cool little clothing items and things like that with every achievement, because it was like, oh, we'll do this and we'll give you this, this random achievement, but you also get an in-game item. And that was the last game I can remember that did that. That had complete the game once, get a suit, complete the game twice, or complete it in under 3 hours, get a rocket launcher like Resident Evil does. I think Resident Evil still do it, but that's because it's sort of, I think the masses would riot.
Now on that one, it tends to be, at least with like 3 Remake and Village, you tend to earn credits as you're playing through it. So you get like little challenges, and it'll be like complete the story on whatever difficulty, only heal a few times, and it gives you money. And then you have to use that money to buy the weapons and the infinite ammo. But I think they also sell money bags in the actual console stores, so you can. So they do it that way as well. Get you that way.
That's how they get you.
But yeah,
robbing bastards.
Fuckers. Yeah.
So verdict,
there's no such thing as a complete game anymore. Is
there? No, definitely. What we're saying about Dead Space 4, we're getting hyped for it or not? Since we've not talked about it for 10 minutes.
If Dead Space 4 is an actual sequel, no. Because it's a different team and I'm not interested. If it's the remake of the first one, then yeah, I'll be cautiously optimistic. 1, because it's a new team. 2, because it's EA. they're bound to fuck it up. But I'm optimistic because it's another Dead Space, and I've wanted to play one of them for a long time. Yeah. I'm always shocked that they never did the Super HD collection for PS4 and Xbox One.
They're all on the EA Play thing, so that's why I thought I'd jump on the first one again. And I actually looked, and my first achievement on that game was actually in 2009. Right.
2009.
2009, and my last achievement was in 2021. So that's over 10 years between games, and it still holds up, mate. I have to say, the first one for me still holds up. If they do a remake, my verdict's if they do a remake, I'm not, like, from the ground remake, I'll be interested and I'll play it, but I kind of think they don't need it, because I think the first one still works really well. I think if they're going to go anywhere, I think they should do a reimagining, and they should take the first one as inspiration, change the setting, stick it on like rather than a big spaceship, stick it in a space station, or do you know what I mean? Stick it a slightly different environment with slightly different things going on, but the premise basically the same. And try and make a sort of new story out of it. But if they do a sequel, if they do an actual fourth one, I think if they try and carry on the story of Isaac and that, what's the point? Like, nobody cares. Just bring a new character into it and set it, 50 years in the future or something. So, but that's how I'd go if I was here.
Yeah. It's gonna be one or the other, and it can't really do much else. It'll either be like a soft reboot or a sequel. And they probably, I doubt they want to take a risk, so I would imagine it would be a sort of remake / reboot to play off the nostalgia of the original, rather than risking a sequel. Yeah, I think it's just easier to sell the remake in it.
Definitely.
But we shall see. I'm more looking forward to that Callisto one, to be fair, than the remake of Dead Space.
Callisto Protocol, was it?
I think. Yeah.
Is that what it's called? The Callisto
Apparently
Protocol?
it's set in the
PUBG universe?
PUBG.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, what the fuck is that about?
I don't... Who gives a fuck about PUBG nowadays?
Oh. Do you know what that means? I guarantee you that means that it's going to be a battle royale.
Yeah, I'll be so disappointed if that's what it is.
I don't think it'll be. No, they've said it's going to be a single player experience, haven't they? They've already said that. A single file. They're trying to make the scariest survival horror game they can. I watched the little teaser trailer, but I do think it will have not necessarily tagged on. It will probably be a free to play standalone download to have a battle royale associated with it.
The old Dead Spaces had a multiplayer mode, though, didn't they? Number 2.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what it was.
Multiplayer mode.
Couldn't tell you what it was. Nah, couldn't tell you what it was. No clue. I don't think it had any achievements associated with it either, so I didn't have to.
Same here. Yeah. I only tend to play the multiplayer if I've got to.
If you have to for that shiny platinum.
Yeah.
The shiny
I've got so
platinum.
far into the single player, and they've hooked me in with some of the trophies. And I think, I can do this. I'll force myself to do the multiplayer to get the platinum.
Yeah.
Because you know what it's like. It's hard to walk away.
It is, but you see the difference between me and you is I walked away a long time ago, so I stopped. So I do care, but obviously you've got a lot more platinums to your name, so you're, you know what I mean. You're still looking and going, oh, but I've completed this, and this will be a blemish. Whereas for me, I've already got plenty of blemishes on my record, so it's like, I don't because yeah.
Hey, Resident Evil Village. Fucking hated that game. Absolutely fucking hated it. Do you know how many bastard times I played that for the fucking trophies?
Be about 9, mate.
I went through the game 4 fucking times now. 4 fucking times, and I didn't even like it.
I actually watched a video you put up. Well, not a video. Well, it was a video, but not of that. It was of the Evil Within 2, your bullshit trophy one, which was you talking about the fucking sniper rifle.
Oh man,
and the flamethrower. Oh.
That was the dumbest thing ever, man. What? So the trophy is to upgrade all of the weapons, and all of the items the trophy description says. But that you could pick it up in like chapter 3. But if you missed that, you'd see it in the later chapters. And I picked it up in the later chapter, and that voids it because when you go to New Game Plus, you can't get it, and it doesn't appear. Oh man, that was so annoying. Yeah,
that to me, that is a bit bullshit. If you've got something that's craftable, it should always be craftable if you're doing a new game.
Yeah. Why couldn't they even just, because I'm on New Game Plus, just break the sniper rifle again or something, you know? So when you start it and get there, you can just quickly fix it. You can keep the parts and whatever. But yeah, they just didn't think that one through at all. A weapon is not an item either, in my book.
No.
It's a different category in the menu. But yeah. Okay. Resident Evil, yeah, I played that for the trophies. It sucked. I get into the trap of like Tomb Raider. I'll platinum the first one, the second one. Oh, I've got to do the third one because it's in a series. I've got to get them all now. So that gets me.
They're not Pokemon.
But yeah, I've got to get them all. And it's hard to like sometimes. If I've invested like 20 hours into the game already, I feel like I've got to get everything now because otherwise I've wasted 20 hours. Now, bear in mind, I can then happily waste another 40 going for all the other trophies, but I don't want to lose that initial time investment.
No, exactly.
Shenmue 3, I platinumed that. I platinumed Shenmue 3 in the during lockdown at the start of this year, and I spent about a week in real time just fishing because there was a trophy for catching 1,000 fish. And I was there every day, wrecking my controller, spinning the sticks, trying to cast the net, reel the fucking fish in, get one out. And Shenmue's got that whole day cycle, hasn't it? So I don't know, an hour of real time is a day in the game, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the Rio character, he'd get up in the morning. I'd have to go through these crappy cutscenes when you're in the house and you say goodbye to the girl who you're with. And I'd have to leg it down the village to where the fishing line rental shop was. I'd have to buy the rod. Then I'd have to sprint to this location where there was this little pool that I could fish in because it was the tiniest one. So it was quicker to catch a fish in that one than any of the others. And then once the timer got to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the rental period would expire. So then you'd have to go all the way back to the shop again to then buy another rod to come back and fish for the rest of the afternoon till 6 o'clock.
Jesus Christ.
And then you'd have to sprint back to the house to go to sleep to then start the next day and do it again. And I think every rental session, I think I was catching at best around 20 to 25 fish. So I could probably get 50 a day on a good day. And I needed to get 1,000 fish.
Oh, mate.
That session would that'd take it'd be about 40 minutes, I think, to do a whole day of fishing. And it was I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? But then midway through that week, it was well, I can't stop now, even though I hate this because I've just spent all that time. And then there was another trophy later on for do you remember all the capsule toys that you used to get in the original team?
Yeah.
There's trophies for getting every set. So I'm there for a whole night just putting money, sinking constant money after money, coins after coins into this one machine to try and get the set of 6 toys. I get the first 5 pretty much straight away. And then I'm just spending all the money, getting dupe after dupe after fucking dupe because I can't get this last one that I need. And I'm there putting the money in that long. The day and night cycle goes all the way around. So he has to go to sleep. Then I have to come back the next day. And I'm doing the same again, putting the money in, money. And I'm still not getting this one. and it's pissing me right off. And eventually I'd get it, but then that's just one set of 30 that you need. So then I'd have to find the next capsule toy machine and do the same thing again. It's an absolute nightmare. The things I've done for trophies, Rob. The things I've done.
Right. I know. Oh, right. We're moving on to this. What we're moving on to?
Silent Hill.
Yeah, we can do that.
Before we do that, the worst thing about the trophies is, as soon as I get that platinum, I don't give a fuck about it anymore, and I'm thinking about the next one.
You're like a heroin addict, mate.
Addiction,
always focused on your next fix. Oh, bless you.
But yeah, what's this Silent Hill news you've got for me?
Siphon Filter. I wish they did have Siphon Filter news. That'd be fucking exciting. Mate,
Every E3 I hope for a trailer.
Mate, it's never going to happen. Are 989 even still existent? Or what? Have they become someone else? Or?
That's Sony
yes,
it's
thingy and it bends, yeah. Days Gone.
It's still around.
Mate, was there a taser in Days Gone? Did they bring it back?
What?
Was there a taser in Days Gone? A long-range taser? Because that's all I care about, really.
I think they did it as a DLC. There was some sort of siphon filter weapon in it. Yeah.
Do you remember that from the first two? The long-range taser was brilliant. Just like lock onto someone.
One of the greatest weapons in video games of all time. Yeah.
It's just like had an endless range, and you just watch people burn. It was brilliant. Oh.
Yeah, because you'd see the line shoot out when you like a Spider-Man web coming at you. And then they're just like twitching.
Yeah, it's great. And then you could just do it forever. You could literally do it forever, and just if there's the last enemy left, I'd just there burning him until I got bored, and I wouldn't. Do you know what I mean?
And when you let it go, they just sort of crumple to the floor in like a smouldering heap.
It's funny, like if the levels have got like a time sink, I've spent like 4 hours on this one level. It's like, why the level's like 10 minutes long? I've just been burning people. Oh, what a game! Siphon Filter 2, mate, brilliant. One of the best PlayStation 2 games. But yes, Silent Hill news. So, Blooper Team, I think they're called. The guys who made The Medium have signed up a sort of work order deal with Konami. So that means that they're going to be working on a project together, and seen as The Medium's a survival horror game, and Konami are, unless they're making a fucking pachinko machine, I think they're making a Silent Hill. And that's the speculation, the rumour anyway, a new Silent Hill game. So, yeah, so we're still on the survival horror theme. What do you reckon?
Well, I haven't played The Medium. It's not out on PlayStation.
So,
it looked cool from the trailers.
So I've completed it.
What do you
So it plays like a very sort of classic. It does play like an old school Silent Hill or an old school Resident Evil game. You've got that, the fixed position camera when you're going into buildings and walking around that highlights the sort of areas of interest that you want to be looking in. You can't see, all around the room, and that's. That perspective works really well for when you're doing a survival horror, because you can position the camera just right so that you can't see enough to know where you're going. But then there is sections where it's more of a sort of a third person game as well, that's sort of out in the open areas and that. There's no combat in The Medium whatsoever. There's no combat. The only things you've got the standard big fuckers chasing you got to run away from it, and then you've got the puzzle solving side of things. I mean, puzzle wise, it was better than The Village, what we was talking about earlier. It wasn't as obvious, so which works well for the puzzles. So there's like one puzzle where you need to find this person, Victoria. You need to find out her name, and she's got a stage name. She's a ballet dancer, so you know a stage name. And like you basically have to look through her belongings, and you end up finding a phone book, and you dial a few you don't dial the numbers, but the numbers, you can sort of hear conversations she's had with people through those numbers. And so you have to determine what her name isn't, and then you find out a bracelet that's got some other writing on, and from all these things you can determine her name is this. And there's another one where you need a 4-digit PIN code for a door, and you look through, you've got different files and things like that, but nothing points out. You know, like Resident Evil, where if you got a file and there's a PIN code in it, it'd be in green.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the PIN code. So, like, for example, you're looking through these different files or these different notes and things, and you've got, like, you find out, like, this guy's daughter's birthday, so you could try that one. You can find out, like, I think it's another date, like an important date, and it ends up being you find an item and it says 10-year anniversary, and then you find a receipt for it, and it's got the year, and you go, okay, 10 years previously, I'll put that year in it, and that ends up being the way through, sort of thing. So the puzzles aren't in your face, sort of like, here you go, this is easy. You do need to have a little think about them, but they're not overly complicated. It's not like, I didn't sit there and struggle with any of them really. So, but like I say, there's no combat. There's just a lot of sort of walking around, exploring. There's loads of like, sort of the setting's very interesting. The setting's very, it's set in Poland, so it's set sort of, I can't, like the year is sort of modern day, but the events of this place sort of happened about 20-30 years ago, the place that you're walking around, so you've got sort of remnants from like people recovering after World War II, things like that, sort of getting back on their feet. So it's quite interesting what's going on there. And the story's good. The story's what kept me playing it, really, to sort of, you're always sort of asking, all right, well, what's going on now? Why is this happening? But from a gameplay point of view, I'd say it's, because there's no combat, I couldn't really tell you how they're going to work combat, and because it's Silent, if they're doing a Silent Hill game, it's got to have combat in it. So are they they're more likely to probably go down the classic route of the sort of, the perspective of the camera angle sort of sitting there. I can just think of that a bit in Silent Hill 2, when you get the wooden plank or whatever and you're down that alleyway, that first weapon you pick up and the radio starts going and you're just swinging like a madman. Sort of that type of thing, which I suppose is a good thing. But I'm quietly optimistic, so I think they'll do a good job, but I do still have some concerns. Like I say, with the combat, I don't know what they're going to do, and the length of the game as well. The medium wasn't very long. It's probably if you're playing it and reading all the files, probably 7-8 hours. If you're not reading the files, you're just skipping through and just playing it thing, you're probably about 4 or 5. Probably less.
I think I'll wait for that to be cheaper then before I buy it on
PS5. This is what I'd say. No, don't get it on launch. The other disappointing thing. Sorry, go on.
Go on, yeah, carry on. So
I'll
jump after you.
I was going to say the other disappointing thing that I felt with it was, graphically it didn't look like a next gen game. It's an exclusive Series XS game. You can't play on Xbox One. So the only thing that was or made it exclusive to that was the whole thing of you could play. You had 2 screens going up once, where one was in the spirit world and one was in the real world, and they were playing simultaneously. That was the only thing you could think, okay, that's why you needed the power or the loading times. But other than that, I didn't really think it needed it.
Right. Yeah, I think the problem that team or any team is going to have when making a new Silent Hill is PT, because no matter what they do, whether it's a first-person one like PT, or whether it goes back to a more fixed camera angle sort of traditional one, I think there's going to be that comparison to PT, and people are going to be disappointed. even if it goes more towards PT or to the classic, because of just how unexpected and cool PT was to play.
PT was fucking horrifying.
They're just, I think they're just in a really tricky position to follow that. If there was another game that came out after PT, like Konami just made a crappy Silent Hill Survivor multiplayer thing or something like they did with Metal Gear, then you'd have that bad taste in your mouth already. You know what I mean? So then the next one you might think, yeah, this is a chance. But now it's basically going up against the perfect game that never was, kind of thing. So I think they've got a bit of a hurdle to overcome there. Because I mean, if they copied PT, you get them saying that, and if they went back to the classic, you get people going, "Well, it's not like PT. I want a PT game." So,
well, have you heard the rumors? Have you heard the rumors of that supposed game that's been made by Kojima secretly?
The one that is gonna do with Xbox or something.
No. So he's made a deal with Xbox, but let me just get the details up because I don't want to get the name of this game wrong. Okay, so Abandoned. So it's a PS5 exclusive game called Abandoned. Have you seen it or heard of it?
Oh, I've heard of the name Abandoned, but I've not really looked into it.
Okay, so this game, basically, the internet has decided that it's Kojima doing a fucking Phantom Pain again. You remember with his whole Moby Dick Studios and things like that?
Yeah.
Right, where he's making this game and everything's fucking leading it to it. The producer, so Blue Box Games, that's the devs, have come out and that state Kojima's not associated with this product at all. But it looks, right, it does look very Silent Hillsy, or PT-ish, right, should I say, not Silent Hillsy.
Yeah.
It looks very PT. And I don't know, like the whole trailer I watched, I watch it and I think that could be a Kojima game just because it looks very sharp. It's got sort of like a filter on it, and you like the whole game, you look through it and you go, yeah, that could be Kojima.
Yeah.
But in the same vein, you look at it and think it's like a bit where there's a campfire and the smoke coming up, and the smoke looks really sort of crappily done. Like it's a particle effect and it doesn't look amazing. And I sort of think that's not very Kojima-y.
Yeah, he's got that minute attention to detail, and to get everything.
But then I don't know. So this internet conspiracy. So it's worth watching the trailer for this Abandoned, and making your own mind up. But the internet's gone mad with this rumor saying that's PT basically, and Kojima's making this fucking Avowed game, and that's going to be the next one to come out because it's a PS5 exclusive for one. I think that's what set the alarm bells.
I suppose it would, wouldn't it?
And I don't know if Kojima's come out himself or whether he's just ignored it. But the Blue Box dev has come out and said, "Look, we're not involved with Kojima. We're not making a Silent Hill game. We've got no connection to Konami or anything like that."
But that's what they would say if they were secretly making it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I want it to be true because I just love Kojima as a mad bastard, and I'd love it. But I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. I really don't. I don't get as much as because like when fucking the Phantom Pain was like announced, everyone was like, "What the fuck's this game? Why is this game headlining this show?" And it's made by some studio nobody's ever heard of. And then the fucking Metal Gear comparisons, and then mate, I was on that hype train, like proper on that hype train. But this, I don't know. I don't think it's. I don't think there's any weight to it. So, but this is the thing. as a dev, right? If I'm making a game and then it suddenly get this massive, if I'm making a game and then it suddenly get this massive internet rumor, do you is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Because if it comes out and you're like, even though you've said this is not a Kojima game, no, Kojima's not involved with this, and the game comes out and people buy it and go, where the fuck this in the Kojima game? You go, no, we told you that. And they're like, oh, let's start fucking, review bombing it.
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah, or do they,
get that publicity, but
get the extra sales figures in because people think it might possibly be a Kojima game, and then I don't know, make a slightly, I don't know. If it's a good game, it's a good game, isn't it? And
yeah,
tough one though. It's a tough one to compare yourself with Kojima, isn't it? It's like fucking pretending to be Jesus.
Yeah, he's in the news a lot lately, isn't he, Kojima? Because there's also rumours of Metal Gear Solid 1 being remade and 2, 3, and 4 getting a HD, Super HD version.
So, I think, first of all, Metal Gear 1 remake, who's that? Bluepoint? Blueprint? Who's doing that?
Bluepoint Games,
Bluepoint.
Yeah. Who Sony have apparently brought.
So, did they do the thingies? I think they did.
They did the HD collection, 2, 3, and Peace Walker, yeah.
Okay.
And then they did like Shadow the Colossus and Demon Souls.
Okay, so they've worked on Sony ones, but I don't think, have they got any games of their own? Have they ever made a game themselves, or have they just like made everyone else's?
I think they've always just either they've made games that just weren't of note, or they've just mostly done remakes, but they're definitely talented. The work they did on Shadow Colossus was great, and Demon Souls is fantastic. So, if there's any studio out there to make Metal Gear Solid 1, it would be them. I wouldn't pick anyone else. It would be them. Because I don't think we'd end up with a Twin Snakes situation where it's just terrible.
Twin Snakes was brilliant,
I think
mate.
do a great job.
Don't
Twin Snakes was absolutely awful. It was fucking garbage.
I'm not having that.
Let's have snakes surf on a missile. Yeah, that's fucking great.
It was brilliant. It was so good.
Absolute dog shit. You are being the troll now. You've got a troll mask on. I can't see you, but I know you have.
No.
You cannot be serious.
No, because the thing is, the thing is with the Twin Snakes, right? And I'll say 100%. The thing is with the Twin Snakes. So it had that
steam coming out of my ears now.
No, because the actual game itself had that HD upgrade. So the gameplay, everything was just a HD upgrade. Yeah. So the gameplay, forget the cutscenes, forget everything else. The gameplay, the graphics were perfectly fine. Forget the cutscenes.
No.
What's wrong with them?
The gameplay was broken because I tell you why. Because they decided to put all of the Metal Gear Solid 2 improvements into it, but this game was never designed for you to jump over railings, hold guards up. It just broke the flow of the game and made it far too easy, and it just ruined it because it wasn't the same experience. And it was just terrible. It was fucking terrible.
No. I can agree. I can agree with that. If you're playing it for the first time, if you're playing the game, you've never played a Metal Gear game before, you're playing the Twin Snakes as your first Metal Gear game. Yeah, I'll agree with what you're saying. The game wasn't designed for all the guards holding up. The flow of the game doesn't work. But as someone who's played the original, right, who's played the original to death, right, has got the tuxedo, has gone on and played Metal Gear Solid 2 to death, right, I thought it was a brilliant addition, especially since it was a Gamecube exclusive. I thought it was perfect because I knew the story, I knew what was going to happen, and the fact that the cutscenes were now ridiculously over the top, right, and it just made it more fun. Like, that's what I wanted. I wanted it to be fun. It's always.
It had the opposite effect for me. Fair enough, you enjoyed that. But do you remember the bit when you're fighting Ocelot And in the original, the ninja comes in, he chops Ocelot's hand off. He goes, "My hand!" and then he runs off, and Snake's like, "What the hell?" And then in Twin Snakes, I swear to God, I'm sure it's this bit. The ninja comes in, they have a little sort of battle, and for some reason, some concrete from the ceiling comes down.
No, he cuts it down. He cuts it down with his sword.
And then doesn't like Snake do like an overhead kick and kicks the concrete back at him or something? Some bollocks like that.
No. So he got right. It doesn't make sense for two reasons. Okay, first of all, he cuts the concrete right in, and it falls down, right, but it's still solid concrete above it. So like, how has he cut the concrete without cutting a hole in the roof? It doesn't make sense. First of all, so it comes down. So he jumps up, cuts it. He comes down, and then he does a bicycle kick and kicks it at Snake. And Snake does like a sort of spinning, like fucking sideways jump to jump over the top of it, right. To get out of the way of it. And then, he pulls the gun on him, and this is all after he's chopped off Ocelot's arm. By the way, Ocelot's just screaming like a girl in the corner. But I would if somebody had chopped my arm off. But yeah, no, it was brilliant, mate. I thought it was brilliant.
Why though? Why does it need that? The scene is already cool as fuck as it is. All that was just, it was garbage. And there was a random ass one as well.
Go on.
Okay, I'll say this one first. The DARPA chief, when you're in the cell with him, right, and you're chatting to him, the first time you see him when it's Decoy Octopus at the beginning, and you're chatting to him, and in the original, you got Johnny the guard walking down, and then he bangs on the door, and he goes, "Shut up in there, will you?" And Snake just hides in the corner, hugging the wall. In Twin Snakes, when he bangs on the door, the camera then cuts back inside, and you see the DARPA chief just ushering the guard away, and then it pans out. And instead of Snake just being in the corner hugging the wall like a normal person, he's suddenly Spider-Man, and he's leapt right up into the air, and he's sort of stuck to the edge of where the wall and the ceiling sort of meet, and he's just there, Spider-Man style, and it's like, what the fuck is that all about? And then he just drops down, and the DARPA chief just carries on talking as if that's some normal thing that normal people do. It's like, why did you spend all that time, that extra time and effort animating that, when you could have just had him up the wall? It's like, no. Garbage. No.
The more I remember these cutscenes, the funnier they are. I think they're hilarious. Like the best cutscene, the best one was the actual fight with Grey Fox. Right, where they're actually having this fight, because that wasn't too over the top. There was a couple of really cool like moves that Snake did. Like there's one where he goes to kick him in the face and fakes it and then kicks him in the knee and stuff like that.
I can't really remember it.
It's not really CQC. It's more Kung Fu, but it's like I think there's some really cool. Like the fight is really good. I like the fight, but yeah, there's stupid bits like where he's firing not Stinger missiles at him. He's firing from the hind D, and he jumps on the missile and backflips it, and then fires a Stinger at Liquid, which is And there's another bit where he's having the thing with Sniper Wolf, and he sort of drops the gun on the floor, and then he fucking treads on it, doesn't he, and does like a flip in the air, and then like,
as if it's a skateboard or something, flips it up.
That bit? Like kick flips it,
yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Tony fucking Hawk on the job.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. It's great. I love it.
It's for me. It takes me out of the game and out of the story, because it's just so completely random to the tone of this game's story, and like, he'll do that thing with the hind D fight and he'll surf on that missile, but then when you're playing as him, you can't even fucking jump. It's just completely different. Oh, terrible. Absolutely terrible.
I love it. Honestly. Okay.
And like, there was different voice actors for a few of them, different music, and yeah, it just wasn't a good remake in my opinion. Yeah.
No, fair enough. But yeah, so they're gonna do one. What? I don't. Do you do one in the style of Phantom Pain? You do one in the style of.
For me, I don't want it. I don't want it open world because it's not a game that needs to be open world because you're in one facility going through. So I don't think it would even fit that anyway. I think what they should do, they should make
Ground
it
Zeroes,
like
Ground Zeroes
subsistence and do it where you can play it in the classic top-down view if you want to do it like that. But they also bring in a more modern, behind the character sort of third-person camera, and that you go through that way as well. I think that would be a good balance. But I don't think it needs to be open world. Not at all.
But think about Ground Zeroes, right? So Ground Zeroes was a facility. Right, no, stop. The game wasn't terrible. The price was terrible. The game wasn't terrible. Ground Zeroes was fantastic for what it was. Right. But the price was ridiculous.
Yeah, the first hour of Phantom Pain. That's what it was.
Yeah. But okay. You've got that's a small facility. Smaller than Shadow Moses. Right. And the open world stuff worked on there. For me it did anyway. And there was a lot of because you had the intro bit, basically the story. But then you had other missions at the same place where you'd go and save someone, or you'd go and assassinate a target, or you'd do a helicopter flyby and shoot things, or you'd do a mission just riding. So it did have more content in there, and it did reuse the area. I mean, I enjoyed Ground Zeroes, but I am a Metal Gear Solid fanboy, so I'd have paid £50 for it and not moaned, really. Do you know what I mean? I'll fucking hang on to Kojima's bated breath. If he has a shit, I'll try and inspect it to see if there's any clues in it for the next Metal Gear game.
I'm all for them remake the story as it was. That's fine. That's a given. And then add in bonus things like the boss rush mode, add in all the VR missions from the special missions disc. Do like Snake Tales sort of missions where, like you say, you can go into the facility again, but you go and do like a side mission somewhere else in a subsection of it. And I'm all for keeping it linear, but maybe a more wide linear. So the facility itself is they've just made the facility bigger. So when you're on the helipad thing at the start, instead of just the vent at the bottom left and then the one at the top up the stairs, maybe there's other routes to go in, so you can go different ways if you want. So there's more choices that way, but you're essentially still going to the same bits at the end. There's more ways to go and approach it. But I don't want to be flying in and out, doing a mission, coming back out the next day, going back there again. I don't think that would work for that game.
Yeah, definitely not.
Expand it. When you go into the building yourself and you're going through all the offices, there's more rooms to explore and things like that. Just expand upon it in those ways. I think that could work really well. Because then you get to do like what Resident Evil 2 did, where it's similar but different. So if you have played it before, you get that sort of new game feeling where you experience new things that are kind of familiar. I think that could be a good option.
Yeah, definitely. I did like Resident Evil 2. I thought that was a brilliant way of doing things. Resident Evil, I still haven't played Resident Evil 3 since everyone I spoke to is like, yeah, it's just 2 with an asset swap basically. Put Jill in instead of Claire, and there you go.
Yeah, essentially. Nemesis is good at the start when you're in the city, but it kind of it feels like it's an abridged version. Okay, the game's on fast forward and it's just flying by, and they don't spend too much time on certain bits.
I think they were just because obviously they had a budget hype with 2, didn't they? And it sold really well. I was like, right, let's get this bandwagon going. What can we do? Oh no, let's do 3. All right, won't we have to make a new game? No, we'll just use all the old maps. Okay.
Yeah, it's the Tomb Raider situation, and back on the PS1 days where they make a hit game and then they've got to get the sequel out in a year for the next Christmas. And they just cut corners. But it's still a fun game.
Yeah.
It's just, don't go into it thinking it's as good as 2.
No, I'm just waiting for it to become... It's never cheap enough for me. I always say, like, a certain game, I'm like, okay, if I see this for, like, say, 15 quid, I might pick it up. And it's always 16 something. I'm like, no, I'll wait for it to just be under 15 quid. And I'll get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time I see it on sale, it's just... And then, the thing was, I saw, like, you could get both of them on sale for 22 quid. And I was like, yeah, well, I've already got one of them, so I don't want fucking, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, the Raccoon City edition or something.
Yeah, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
That's annoying, but, you know. I will play it at some point, but, you know, I've played... I think they need to make Code Veronica, if I'm honest with you. That's more interesting to me. I'd love to see a remake of that.
Yeah, apparently they've skipped that one to do 4, though, haven't they?
Have they?
Because 4 is the next one that's coming out, yeah.
4...
But 4's sounding quite bad.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're changing quite a bit of it. And, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Wonder why.
We'll see.
Oh, I lost Melo!
I think I think 3 scared them a bit, and I think they've like gone back to the drawing board with it. I think because obviously people weren't as thrilled with 3.
Yeah, but the reason was because they rushed it. Like there was no, you know, there's no like, oh, why don't they like this game? They'd have loved it if they'd have put the time and effort they did for 2 in. But
it's like, I think they skipped like the church bit, and you don't do the. Do you remember when you get to the petrol station? It's all blocked off, and you have to do a few puzzles to get into it. Then the gas leaks, and the Nemesis comes out and he blows it up. That's sort of just a couple of seconds bit on a like scripted bit where you just run past it, and the Nemesis shoots it and blows it up. It's like nothing to it. It's almost a cutscene. It's like, yep, see ya.
Yeah, that's it.
I think the church with the clock tower thing, that's just in the background of a boss fight. You don't actually go there.
Fuck's sake.
And there's the park bit with the worm. I don't think you do that either.
Hospital. Still the hospital?
Yeah, you do the hospital. And Jill doesn't even go to the police station.
What?
She doesn't even go to the police station. Yeah. She never goes there. So you never get the Nemesis smash through the wall, and nothing.
You don't get the thing with Brad, or if they move that.
Brad, Carlos goes to the police station for a bit, and you do see his body there, but you don't get to see him like get killed by the Nemesis. He's just already sort of there, I think.
But that's not the whole thing.
Bit and he sort of turns.
That's like how they introduced the fact that the Nemesis is after Stars members.
Yeah. So it starts off weird like the original, where she's in her apartment and then all of a sudden it blows up. But it's the Nemesis. He's right there at the very beginning, and then you exit her apartment. The Nemesis is still up there, but for some reason he stops chasing you. And then Brad's just in the alleyway outside her apartment, as if he's like some peeping Tom, just climbing up to perv for a window. And then he sort of tells you to go because something's coming after them. And like you literally see him. You walk up the road, zombies come through a fence, and you run into this diner thing. But Brad's already got bitten by that point, so you sort of just leave him in the diner, blocking the door so they can't get in, and you go out the back way, and then that's it. She's in the alley picking a gun up.
It's the opening of 2 where the fucking guy in the gun shop basically gets fucking...
Yeah.
Mate.
Don't shoot, I'm human.
Oh, I'm sorry, darling.
Oh, sorry about that, babe.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah. Crazy.
Alright. But no, mate, honestly, because I was looking through... like looking at obviously the Dead Space stuff, I was looking through the old Resi games. I was thinking about playing through 4 again. I loaded up my save of 4 that I had and had a look where I was, and I was just before you fight Salazar, and I had a quick run around. But the controls are so backwards, so backwards. It was like hold right trigger to aim, and you could change them, but after spending like 20 minutes getting used to them, and then I looked in the options afterwards about changing them, I thought, nah, I can't be bothered. It was like right trigger to aim, X to shoot, A to reload, or you got the trigger out, and then left trigger to pull the knife out. And yeah, it was just so fucking awkward. It was like learning how to fucking walk again. You've been in a coma for 10 years or something. But
tell you what though, five had a great control because the game was designed around it and the combat. I loved moving around, turning, aiming, shooting. You know, that whole gameplay loop of you moving and shooting was really good in Resident Evil 5.
Yeah.
There was a set route, almost like the old Tomb Raiders where it was all on a grid. And once you realised everything was made up of a square block, you could judge your jumps and always make the jump. It was kind of like that. You would get into this set little pattern. I really liked that. And then they ruined it with 6 because it was more loose and just didn't feel right.
6 was all over the shop. But yeah, I think 5 for me, 5 because it was a weird one because I didn't play it cooperatively until I played it with you, really. So 5 was always like I think I did the odd level with a couple of mates or whatever, but like the majority, the first time I completed the game, I completed it on my own, and like if I was doing it on the harder difficulties, I was doing it on my own. But then, like I said, I played through it with you. We got all the trophies, and I really enjoyed that. The game, it brought new life to the game for me, because I've got to the point where I was a bit sort of like uninterested in it, and I didn't really fancy playing it again. You know, I never thought, oh, I fancy doing Resident Evil 5.
Yeah.
But no, I'm glad I did that with you because it definitely opened up the game again for me, and I did really enjoy it.
It's the way it's meant to have been played, though, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Like you say, it completely changes it. It's a different game. Yeah.
There's a question.
So much fun.
There's a question. Looking back at Dead Space 3, did Dead Space 3 look at Resident Evil 5 and go, right, we need to make it like that? We need multiplayer. We need co-op.
Probably did, didn't it?
Yeah.
EA wanted the multiplayer thinking so they could charge for the pass, and yeah.
Capcom killed it, mate. Capcom killed Dead Space by luring them into a false sense of co-op works.
There was a nice idea with the multiplayer in Dead Space because you'd both hallucinate different things.
Yeah.
So you could go into one room and it'd be okay for you, but the other guy would be seeing, flames all over the room or something. But yeah.
Well, it
was the fact that.
Go on.
No,
I was going to mention.
It was the fact that it became a shooter. That was all.
Yeah,
at that point, it was a shooter. You had human enemies shooting at you, and you could duck for cover, couldn't you? And it was like, what is this?
But did you ever play Kane and Lynch?
I think I played the first one.
So the first one, right? Me and my mate, he come round my house and we tried to do the whole game in co-op in a night. Because I think I was working at Game at the time, and I got the game as like a sort of there was a free version that they were giving out like to stores, and one member of staff got it, and I think I just went, I'm having that. So yeah, it was shit. What a crap game. But we tried to do the whole co-op thing in the night, and we was up till about 4 a.m. But there was one fantastic bit where you rob a bank, and you're coming out of the bank, and it's kind of a bit like that film Heat, with De Niro and Al Pacino, and you're making your escape, and you're sort of running through this crowd of people. And I was playing as I think it's Kane, who's the one who's like just the broken nose or whatever, one who looks a bit like Max Payne. Right. Then you got Lynch, the bald guy, right? And so I'm there, just like running away. There's like no cops, and we've killed everyone, and we just got to get to the exit. And I'm there running, and my mate's just he's just killing people. He's just killing people in the street, just strangling them, running up to them, pressing X and finishing them. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Come on, we've got to go. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, mate, fucking finish the mission. He's like, yeah, but the police are here still. There's no fucking police. The police are here. So I can't see any fucking police. Bearing in mind, it's like 2:30 in the morning at this point. We've had a few beers. We've probably smoked some stuff we shouldn't have smoked. And it's like the police are here. I was like, mate, what the fuck are you on about? So anyway, I stopped and I was looking at his screen, and all the pedestrians on my screen were cops on his. So he's like panicking that I'm running through the middle of cops, right?
Yeah.
And he's ducking behind cover and shooting them all and like breaking their necks and stuff, just like massacring people. And I'm like, it was that bit of the game. I'll always remember that. It was really well done. And like you say, that's the kind of thing that Dead Space 3 tried to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a really cool moment.